Just remember these 10 points and you can expand them to create a detailed answer on Schumpeter's theory in your exam. They show how the development of an economy is linked to business cycles. You will see how simple these are to memorize. The economy starts in a state of equilibrium. Entrepreneurs introduce innovations. Banks provide credit to finance those innovations. With innovation, investment and production increase. Profits rise. Economic expansion occurs. In other words, economic development takes place. Economy moves to a new equilibrium at a higher level of income and output. Competition rises to share these high profits, ultimately leading to market saturation. Prices now begin to fall, demand slows down and investment disappears. Economy heads into a recession before the new cycle of innovation kicks in and the process starts all over again. Hello everybody. Today we will do Joseph Schumpeter's theory of economic development. Whether you are studying this for your university examinations or competitive exams, this theory is extremely important and asked about in some form or the other everywhere. So without wasting any time, let's straight away jump into it. Schumpeter first propounded this theory in his famous work, The Theory of Economic Development, which was published in the year 1911. Now many of us think that economic development and economic growth are one and the same thing. But Schumpeter distinguished between the two clearly. He said that growth means gradual increase in the output. See, जब कोई plant यानी कि पौधा gradually बढ़ता है तो हम यही कहते हैं ना कि it is growing. It is gradually growing in size day by day. हम ये तो नहीं कहते कि it is developing. Same way, economic growth also means a gradual increase in the economy's output, which may be due to population increase or capital accumulation over the years. जैसे जैसे हमारी population बढ़ती जाती है, economy की output बढ़ती जाती है automatically, क्योंकि जितनी population increase होगी उतनी ही उनकी consumption भी तो बढ़ेगी. So population increase leads to an increase in consumption. Consumption से demand grow करती है and demand leads to increase in productivity. Because to meet increased demand, capitalists deploy greater capital in the economy, greater investment, which leads to increase in production. And in effect, हमारी GDP यानी output grow कर जाती है. This is what Schumpeter calls the process of economic growth. Now, this is very different from what he terms as development of economy. Development, he believes, is a process that involves qualitative changes due to innovation. यानी कि कोई इनोवेशन हुआ या टेक्नोलॉजी डिसरप्शन हुआ जिसकी वजह से इकोनॉमी में डेवलपमेंटल प्रोसेस स्टार्ट हुआ. अब आप देखो, टेलीकॉम सेक्टर में वायरलेस कम्युनिकेशन टेक्नोलॉजी was an absolute technological disruption in the mid-90s. Wireless communication led to the rise of mobile telephony, which led to the growth of internet and stimulated greater internet penetration, better infrastructure of digital services, healthcare, education, entertainment, IT services, financial and banking inclusion, etc. So innovation is like a chain reaction. एक जगह हुआ तो उससे many related upstream and downstream sectors of the economy get positively affected. This is what he calls the process of economic development. यानी कि growth वो जो organically and naturally हो रहा है, it's a gradual process. Population बढ़ेगी तो economy में organically demand बढ़ेगी and economy grow करेगी. On the other hand, development वो which happens through a spark of an innovation somewhere, disrupting the equilibrium and leaping the economy forward with a force. In his work throughout, Schumpeter talks about economic development and the role of entrepreneurship and innovation in this development of the economy. Let's talk about the main features of Schumpeter's theory. First and foremost, his emphasis is on development of the economy, as we have just discussed. According to him, development is a discontinuous process. यानी हमेशा नहीं हो रहा होता, कभी कभी होता है. It happens in parts and takes place through sudden changes in the economy that disrupt the flow of existing equilibrium. Existing equilibrium क्या है? It is the same circular flow of goods from production to consumption. There is no newness. Some goods are being produced and consumed in the economy. There is the usual growth which is due to factors we have just discussed, such as population growth, increasing demand over years, and capitalists investing to meet this gradually increasing demand. Schumpeter says that unlike growth, डेवलपमेंट हैपन्स थ्रू क्लस्टर्स ऑफ इनोवेशंस बाय एंटरप्रेन्योर्स। अचानक से कोई इनोवेशन या सेट ऑफ इनोवेशंस होती हैं एंड दे डिसरप्ट द यूजुअल इक्विलिब्रियम, जैसे कि हमने टेलीकॉम का एग्जांपल देखा। सो इन हिज थ्योरी इनोवेशन हैज अ सेंट्रल रोल, इट इज द ड्राइविंग फोर्स ऑफ इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट। अब इनोवेशन भी कई तरीके की होती हैं। ही लिस्ट्स डाउन 5 टाइप्स ऑफ इनोवेशंस। लेट्स सी देम वन बाय वन। इंट्रोडक्शन ऑफ अ न्यू प्रोडक्ट। Take the example of iPhone by Apple. Before the launch of this device, mobile phones were mainly used for calls and messages. iPhone made the devices smart. It combined a phone with a music player, a camera, a writing pad, an internet device, and so many other things, all rolled into one single product. With iPhone, users could now access emails, documents, and internet anywhere. Companies could improve their efficiency through mobile apps and digital connectivity. Entirely new industries were created like app development, mobile advertising, ride sharing, food delivery, urban services, etc. Millions of jobs and billions of dollars of economic activity emerged from this one single innovation. So here he asserts that innovation has an inducing effect. Innovation in one sector induces development in many other related sectors, thus multiplying its impact on the overall economy. Second type of innovation, he says, can be the introduction of a new method of production. When Henry Ford introduced the assembly line production in automobile manufacturing in the year 1913, it revolutionized the industry, gigantically scaling up mass automobile production. Earlier cars were handcrafted and expensive. Ford standardized production using the moving assembly lines. Cars became affordable to middle class consumers and strong expansion was seen in related industries. Third type of innovation, he says, can be finding or opening up an entirely new market. This expands demand and stimulates the economy. For example, e-commerce as a unique marketplace enabled global sales for smaller businesses. Even rural businesses found openings in urban pockets through e-commerce and online trading platforms. Another type of innovation is the discovery of new sources of raw materials. We have seen how the use of renewable energy sources have tremendously expanded power supply. Additionally, lithium extraction has boosted power storage. Both these discoveries have contributed to the development of the power sector and in effect the overall economy. The fifth type of innovation in Schumpeter's theory is the new organization of industry. Ride sharing platforms like Uber have organized travel in an absolutely new way, contributing to the development of cab services and giving a boost to the aggregator economy. Such innovations or disruptions in the equilibrium of the economy increase productivity and create new opportunities for employment and growth. Next prominent feature in Schumpeter's theory comes from his unwavering belief in entrepreneurs and their ability to innovate. He says that the origin of innovations is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneur is the central figure who introduces innovations and assumes risks. He says that entrepreneurs are motivated by a strong desire for success and achievement and understand the risk and return metrics, therefore are willing to take risks on the path to innovation. They act as catalysts for economic transformation. Next, he talks about the importance of bank credit. Schumpeter emphasizes that innovation requires financial resources because it is an expensive and time consuming process. So when commercial banks create credit and provide funds to entrepreneurs, they enable them to implement innovations. According to him, bank credit leads to innovation. A successful innovation leads to investment by entrepreneurs and capitalists. They are basically investing in capacity or supply expansion to mass produce the newly innovated product. So we can say that investment leads to production expansion, which ultimately leads to economic development. That is, supply increases to meet the demand surge and overall output in the economy rises. Therefore, he links bank credit directly to economic development. ये सिंपल सिंगल लाइन फ्लो डायग्राम याद कर लो, आप अच्छे मार्क्स स्कोर कर सकते हो. In his theory, he introduces a concept of creative destruction, meaning new innovations replacing old technologies and business practices. So while innovation creates new industries, it also destroys outdated ones. सी न्यू प्रोडक्ट्स टू टाइप्स की होती हैं, वन विच हैव इंक्रीमेंटल इंप्रूवमेंट्स एंड अदर विच हैव रेडिकल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल फीचर्स। इंक्रीमेंटल मतलब आपने एग्जिस्टिंग फीचर्स में कुछ चेंजेस एंड अपग्रेड्स करे टू कीप द प्रोडक्ट अप विद द टाइम्स। जैसे मोबाइल फ़ोन कैमरा पहले लेट्स से 3.2 मेगापिक्सल था, अब आप उसको 12 मेगापिक्सल कर दीजिए। और कंप्यूटर चिप डिज़ाइन अपग्रेड्स जैसे इंटेल कोर i3 से i5 देन i7 एंड जनरेशनल चेंजेस होते रहे। ईच जनरेशन ऑफ चिप्स इज मोर एडवांस्ड देन द प्रीवियस वन। इस केस में प्रीवियस और न्यू प्रोडक्ट्स दोनों साइड बाय साइड एग्जिस्ट करते हैं। बट इन द केस ऑफ ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल चेंज, जहां पर टोटली न्यू प्रोडक्ट है, ये प्रोडक्ट प्रीवियस प्रोडक्ट को कंप्लीटली ऑब्सोलीट कर देती है, खत्म कर देती है। लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल व्हेन स्मार्टफोन्स वर इंट्रोड्यूस्ड फर्स्ट बाय एप्पल आईफोन, दे मेड बेसिक मोबाइल फोन्स कंप्लीटली रिडंडेंट। सिमिलरली डिजिटल कैमराज DSLRs रिप्लेस्ड पोलरॉइड फिल्म कैमराज। पहले आप फिल्म रोल डालते थे, रिमेंबर कोडेक, नेगेटिव को डेवलप करवाते थे टू गेट द फोटोज। अब तो सीधा फोटो पेन ड्राइव या SSD में आती हैं, यू कैन व्यू इट इमीडिएटली। दिस वॉज अ ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल चेंज। एक और एग्जाम्पल ऑफ क्लाउड टेक्नोलॉजी रिप्लेसिंग लोकलाइज स्टोरेज। अब आप डॉक्यूमेंट्स, फोटोज एटसेट्रा सब क्लाउड में स्टोर करते हो, गूगल ड्राइव, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट वन ड्राइव, एप्पल्स iCloud. It has not only made lives easier by allowing access to your data from anywhere, any device, but have also largely eliminated the risk of losing your precious data. Local storage on computer hard drives is almost obsolete now. I think you got the point. This destruction of an old technology or process due to a new technology or process, Schumpeter calls it as creative destruction. Lastly and importantly, he draws a connection of development with business cycles. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, इसको ध्यान से समझो। Without innovations and entrepreneurial spirits, he believes the economy runs in a monotonous circular motion from production to consumption. अगर कोई इनोवेशन नहीं हो रही तो इकोनॉमी में एक सर्कुलर मोशन सिस्टम वर्क करता है। जो प्रोडक्शन होता है वो कंज्यूम होता है, जो प्रोडक्शन होता है वो कंज्यूम होता है। एक मोनोटोनस सर्कल चलता रहता है। बट innovations break this circle and turn the economy into a cyclical path called the business cycles. हम circular path से cyclical path में आ जाते हैं। Innovations tend to occur in clusters and these can be of any type as we have talked about previously, है ना? New product, new method of production, new market, etc. etc. These innovations lead to rise in profits. More investment comes in, more capacity is added and production increases, leading to economic booms. High degree of development takes place during the boom phase, but booms are followed by busts in a business cycle. जो ऊपर गया है वो नीचे तो आएगा. So gradually as the market gets saturated with competition, profits begin to fall. Investments go away. Capacity utilization falls due to reduced demand. Production thereafter begins to fall. This leads the economy into a recession, and after this again begins the new cycle of innovations which lead to the next boom. Now you may ask, why does the economy go into recession after a boom? If the economy is doing so well, then what pushes it into depression all of a sudden? To understand this, we'll have to understand the concept of business cycles. But without digressing much from our topic of Schumpeter's theory, we can say that when an innovation happens, it creates monopoly profits for the innovating entrepreneurs. They get these profits because they are ahead of their competitors in providing something new and unique. उन्होंने कुछ यूनिक बनाया जो अभी किसी और ने नहीं बनाया, and people find value in their innovative product. तो अगर वो अपने प्रोडक्ट को एक्सेस भी चार्ज करें तो there will be many takers, hence generating high profit margins. But these profits are temporary. As competition catches up and other firms start providing similar products, markets head towards saturation and firms start competing for a share in profits. Prices begin to fall and the initial extraordinary profits begin to disappear. Also during the boom phase, because the investments are generally high, it leads to the creation of excess production capacity. जब एकदम बूम चल रहा होता है, डिमांड इज राइजिंग डे बाय डे, तब इन्वेस्टर्स खूब पैसा डाल के उस डिमांड को मीट करने के लिए कैपेसिटी एक्सपेंड करते हैं. दिस ओवर कैपेसिटी नाउ बिकम्स अ हेडेक, क्योंकि अब डिमांड गिर गई है और हमारी एक्सेस कैपेसिटी आइडल हो गई है. underutilized हो रही है. As sales come down, profits fall and investors get wary of investing any further. Banks also get cautious with lending. Production and employment, everything comes down, taking the economy into a depression. ये तो हो गया आपका Schumpeter's theory part. But many times questions come on the critical evaluation of the theory. In the critical evaluation, we have to write the positive aspects of the theory and also the criticisms of the theory. So let's learn about the criticisms. We can take each feature of the theory as we just discussed and write a critique on that. See how. First and foremost is the overemphasis on innovation and entrepreneurs. Schumpeter considers entrepreneurs and their innovations as the main drivers of development. However, economic development also depends on various other factors which he does not consider sufficiently. Economic development can occur even without major innovations through increased investment, better utilization of existing resources, improvements in education and health to nurture human capital, institutional reforms. There can be many such factors that contribute to development. He exaggerated the importance of innovation. Countries with very talented entrepreneurs may still struggle to develop if they lack infrastructure or stable governing institutions. Secondly, he neglects the role of government. His theory gives very little credence to government policies and public institutions. In reality, governments play a crucial role through their investment in public good and social overhead capital. Investment in education and infrastructure, industrial and trade policies, reformatory monetary and fiscal measures, research and development support, etc. Without this support from the government, entrepreneurship cannot thrive. Take for example the case of South Korea. Its rapid industrialization was aided by active government intervention and planning. Third criticism is that he assumes easy availability of bank credit. मतलब बड़े आराम से बैंक में जाओ और पैसा मिल जाएगा. He argues that banks create credit for entrepreneurs and stimulate innovation. This is a very simplistic assumption. Banks may be unwilling to lend to risky projects, which is what entrepreneurs undertake on their road to critical innovations. Also, it is a fact that financial markets in developing countries are often underdeveloped. Innovation is often constrained by financial limitations, and very significantly, lack of collateral may prevent innovators from obtaining loans, which is not what he considers fully. He ignores social and institutional factors. The theory focuses mainly on economic variables and pays insufficient attention to social attitudes, culture, education, legal institutions, political systems, etc. These factors strongly influence entrepreneurial activity and economic development. एक criticism ये भी है कि Schumpeter's theory is more applicable to developed economies. His analysis was based largely on industrialized capitalist economies. Developing countries, on the other hand, often face problems such as poverty, unemployment, lack of capital, low technological capabilities, etc. Therefore, innovation may not be the immediate engine of growth in such economies. He neglects population growth and capital formation. Schumpeter links population rise at best with the gradual growth of the economy, but not development. When he says that population increase leads to increase in consumption of goods automatically, he ignores factors such as savings and investment, capital accumulation, labor force growth, and other demographic factors, all linked to behavioral aspects of population growth. Population increase makes the demography younger. Younger people are more aspirational, they save more, invest more, add to the labor force, and hence have greater ability to contribute to the development of economy. Economists such as Robert Solow emphasized these factors as important determinants of long run growth. Criticism number 7. His theory does not explain continuous long term growth. Schumpeter viewed development as occurring in waves or cycles generated by clusters of innovations. However, critics argue that growth can be steady and continuous. Modern economies experience sustained growth due to ongoing technological progress and capital accumulation in a longer run. It can be said that his theory explains cyclical fluctuations better than long-term growth. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please press the like button before you go. Share your thoughts in the comment section. Till we meet next, Bye.